everyone, and welcome to another episode of my Woman Who Inspires series. My name is Sreshtha Tewari. I am a motivational speaker and a wholeness guide, and I am also the director of the Self-Worth, Leadership, and Empowerment Consultancy. In this series, my intention is to show women that those emotions that we think of as negative are really little messages from the universe telling us either we need to move from where we are or there is a bigger purpose ahead of us. Today, I have a very special guest with me, not my daughter, but the other person who I'm going to introduce right now. Her name is Dominique Lewis. Dominique is an entrepreneur and owner of Amare Probiotics Limited. She has a BSc in biomedical science and a postgraduate degree in medical microbiology. Dominique is also a mom of 2 little girls. So welcome to our series, Dominique. How are you today?
Thank you. I'm fine, thanks. How are you?
I'm good. It's so nice to meet you. And Dominique is going to tell us all about her journey to becoming the owner of Amare Probiotics Limited. And I believe she has some samples to show you guys. So these are available. Dominique will say where has her products available?
Yes, our products can be found on the chiller shelves of all the supermarkets nationwide, as well as PriceMart.
Okay, very nice. So Dominique, I will invite you now to share your emotional healing journey.
Thank you. So I'll just quickly begin with giving you a background on our products and the business itself. The company started about 6 years ago in my mom's kitchen, and we make products that are good for your digestion. So the product ranges include kefir, water kefir, kombucha, and sauerkraut. And all of these are fermented foods that are good for your gut. So our business represents people using our products to help their digestive system and improve their immune system as well. So I started this business about 6 years ago with a cousin of mine, my mom's kitchen. And as you just heard, we are now on the supermarket shelves. So it's been a really interesting journey. With lots of ups and downs that I will share with you. But I just want to say that, if you have this desire or dream that you want to be able to start your own business, it's not easy, but it's 100% worth it. So my journey began when I left university a few years ago. Can't quite remember how many years, but it was maybe 7 years ago. And I wasn't sure what I wanted to do with my career. So I did biomedical science and microbiology, and I automatically thought that I would work in a lab. But then I worked in a laboratory here, and I just was kind of dissatisfied with their standards and wanted to be my own boss. So for a little while, I did a babysitting business where I would hire girls to do babysitting, and I would help them get the job. And for a while that was fine, but it wasn't enough to sustain myself. So my cousin suggested that I make water kefir. So water kefir is a fermented drink that is made with water kefir grains, which are like a starter culture, almost like how we use yeast to make beer and wine. And the water kefir is essentially, as I've mentioned, a fermented drink that you can make with any sort of flavor or juice, but we use teas that are uncaffeinated and herbs like ginger, roots and herbs like ginger or mint. So these beverages were not that difficult for me to make in my mom's kitchen where I started. And as I continued to grow, we eventually moved to bigger spaces. But it really kind of kicked off when I went to a market, and the owner of Starlight saw the product and he wanted to put it in his shelf. And so that was kind of where we started off with selling in stores. But, being a woman and being in the business world, it was a little bit challenging for me because, let's face it, there aren't that many women entrepreneurs, especially in Trinidad. And I find that the business world is kind of dominated by men. So, it has its challenges because as a woman, you feel like you want to prove something to the men and to everyone that, you can do it. So I didn't always have the resources. I started with maybe $3,000 that I had from my savings. And I kind of just, as I sold more product, used that money to buy more raw materials and just kind of kept going like that. Because we didn't have any like investors or loans at the time. So the company kind of grew organically. And, at the beginning, it was just myself making all the products, but eventually I was able to hire someone else to help me. But because I had to use the same money that I was making, it still wasn't enough to like, outfit a brand new commercial kitchen or anything like that. So it really was a bit of a struggle to be able to meet the standards of, having a commercial industrial kitchen and doing things the proper way. And so that was one of my major challenges that I faced in the beginning. And also I had no business experience whatsoever. So the whole thing for me was just like completely brand new. And, I still wear a lot of the hats, but at the time I was wearing all the hats, doing accounts, doing deliveries, doing purchasing, driving to Cuba to buy cane syrup, driving to Carney to buy bottles. I remember one time I went to Piarco to buy coconut water from this guy because it was like such a good deal. And it was just this guy cutting coconuts in his garage. So, I mean, it's been like a really interesting journey so far, but in the beginning, it was really just raw and very hands-on, working until 11 o'clock at night, making the product so that the next day, during the day, I could do deliveries. And I was also doing science lessons as well to make extra cash. So I was just juggling a lot to sustain myself and follow this, this dream of being able to teach everybody about this amazing new product. So at that time, another struggle that I had was that this is a product that people didn't know about in Trinidad. So here I was trying to market it and sell it and having to basically teach people about this thing that no one had ever heard of before. So, I mean, you can just imagine trying to sell something to someone that they've never heard of. It's a little challenging, That was kind of where the difficulty with getting into the supermarkets kind of happened, because I wanted to see it in more stores, even though it was in Starlight. But I had to really convince people that they were taking a risk, that the risk was worth it for them, and that they would be making a good amount of money by selling this product. So after Starlight, I approached other supermarkets, which involved Extra Foods. JTA had called me, and I'll never forget, like, each time I got into one big supermarket, I just couldn't believe the overwhelming happiness that I felt knowing that something that started in my mom's kitchen is now on the shelf of a supermarket, and here I am with no business experience at all. So I felt really proud of myself, but of course, these things don't come without stress. So there were many days of crying when I didn't know what to do, or when I couldn't figure out how to do the accounts. For example, I taught myself accounts. I taught myself how to use QuickBooks. There was a lot of days when I just felt really down and frustrated because I didn't have the money that I needed to do what it is I really wanted to do, like buy more chillers or buy more stainless steel tables and that kind of thing. One of the buildings that we were making the products in was an old office, but it was the only rent that we could afford at the time. So, I had this, like, I saw the office and I knew, okay, this is what we have to work with. I made it work. It wasn't suitable. We had a very tiny very small room for the kitchen, but it worked enough, to get us by at that time. So we kind of just, whenever the opportunity came and I was able to move and grow a little bit more, we kind of done that. And now where we are in Digger Martin, we've outgrown our space again. And our latest achievement was that I got into PriceSmart about 3 months ago, which is also when my daughter was born. So you could imagine dealing with a newborn and dealing with getting into a new a new store as big as Price Mart. It's a lot. It's definitely a lot, especially when you have a toddler as well in the mix. It's just like people grabbing at you for attention, trying to make payments on time to your suppliers, making sure you don't run out of stock. So definitely, being a business owner and a mom and a woman, it's a lot. It can be a lot, especially at this stage of where I am right now, where the business is still fairly new, and we aren't exactly still in a position where we are getting any investors or anything like that. So I have come this far, and my plan is to export eventually at the end of this year, hopefully. But so far, those kind of were the biggest challenges that we faced.
Yeah, wow. That is such an interesting story because, a lot of people, they would look at successful women or people in business and think they just naturally or automatically inherited wealth and have their bed made, right? But you are such a wonderful example of someone who is going after their dream. So if I were to pull out, some of the emotions or things you spoke about, you got your degree and you did the conventional thing. You applied for a job, you went to work in a lab and you didn't like it, you were dissatisfied. And instead of staying there, like so many people just stay in their job and ride it out till they're 60 that they don't like, you took action, you left the job even though it was difficult, and you started your own business. But again, recognizing that it couldn't sustain the life that you wanted, you had to look for something else to do, and using your own skills, your own knowledge, your own education, and doing something that you love together with your cousin, you were able to start this business with only $3,000, and which is something I also find very remarkable because, again, a lot of people think when people go into business, they have a lot of money, and a lot of times they don't. They're just using whatever little savings they have, starting in your mom's kitchen, very, very humble, and eventually making enough to keep reinvesting, not even to live, a life that you want as yet, but to continuously reinvest and go after the dream, and to see your dream expand, to move into like Starlight and then into each of these supermarkets and now into Price Mart. It's so rewarding that no matter the struggles you face and the little things that happen, you feel as though, yes, this is a milestone and I'm seeing my dream realized. And most importantly, I am enjoying every moment of the dream.
Mommy.
So, Dominique, I want to ask you just two questions. Are you grateful for the journey you have had so far, even though it has had its ups and downs? And if yes, why?
Yes, I'm super grateful. It's not only helped me to grow as a person, but it's also helped me to appreciate more, the money that I do make and have, and anything that I have, because I realize how hard work really pays off. Because the work that I do, the products that we make, it's not only about the money for me, it's also about the fact that it's a product that helps people with their digestive problems. And we've gotten such amazing feedback and testimonials from customers along the years. Just a couple of days ago, someone called me and she said she just had to call and say that she's just so amazed that this product even exists, and that she's only now learning about it because her aunt who lives in the States called her because she was having stomach problems and told her that she can go to Price One and try out this drink. And it's phone calls like that that just really make it worth it for me, that, after all this hard work, it makes sense to just keep going, because I still haven't reached where I want to be yet with regards to my salary. I mean, there are some months when I can't even pay myself a salary, but for me, it's just 100% worth it. And I am super grateful that I've had this opportunity so far. And as long as I continue to do this business, to continue growing.
Yeah, and gut health, I didn't say it in the beginning, but gut health is something that is so important for women and something we're not really told to look after or to take care of, because your gut actually informs a lot of the bloating that goes on in our tummies as women, especially as we get older, and understanding how to keep a healthy gut actually will help you in managing your tummy, which is a big thing for women. And one other thing I wanted to pull out before I ask my last question from your story is for my audience. Dominique, she didn't have all the skills. She knew how to make the drink, but including in making the drink is also understanding purchasing and accounting and the other thing she spoke about. And again, she took action. She decided to go and learn how to do those things in order to be able to do her business. And this is something as businesswomen we do as well. When I started this series, I knew nothing about editing or any of the things that you see me doing now. And in order to get it done for free, because that you have to do as much as you can on your own, we go and we learn how to do these things. And, you are such a epitomization of a woman who really is going after her dream. I so commend you on it, and I'm so happy to have you here. And I just want to ask you one other question.
Thank you.
What would you tell, you're welcome, what would you tell your younger self? Or if you have a message for women out there, either one.
I would answer both questions in one answer. So the same thing that I would tell my younger self, I would tell young women out there is that if you have a dream, don't give up, just because you face challenges. I mean, in anything that you do, you will always face challenges, but the real beauty of it is how you choose to deal with it. You can either cry about it or give up, or you can, okay, this isn't a problem. How can I solve this? And that's something that for me is really important with how I deal with my employees when problems arise, is how can we fix it instead of getting angry or upset about it? We've acknowledged the problem and we have decided, okay, let's do something about it. And how can I move on? So for me, the biggest message is basically don't give up.
Yeah, and that is so true. How we treat with what we come up really informs our success, how we react and how we move through those situations. And that is actually part of what I do as being a wholeness guide, to teach women how to work through those situations, knowing that you are limitless and you can do anything that you want to. It's all about how we treat with what is coming our way. So Dominique, I really want, sorry?
How to deal.
How to deal, yeah. I really want to thank you so much for coming on this series as a woman who inspires. And if you guys see her products on the shelves, take them, try them, and let her know your feedback and how it has helped you, because everything that we do and anything that we do, even for myself, it always helps to get feedback, because then we could make even better products for you. So make sure to give her your feedback. I will have all of her information in the description box below. Thank you so much for watching, and I will see you guys again soon. Bye.